Welcome back, everyone. Connecting Dots 2 here. We are Sunday, May 22nd, and I'm going to have a 4 hour live streaming Fukushima. Well, it's not just Fukushima, whatever radiation happens to be out there, it'll be tracking it. And I'm doing this because, well, I've received again a couple of emails, and again, I don't mind your emails. Thank you very much, especially when you're bringing to light some of the fraud out here. So, Dana had a show 18 hours ago. And again, it's the same story where he's pulling out old stories from 2011, trying to scare the bejesus out of everyone, telling them all the radiation is plastered everywhere. In fact, at one point, he actually pulls out this screenshot that you can see in the background right now where he's showing some canal covered with some green dye that was put in the canal. Long story short, he tells his viewers in last night's show that if the radiation wasn't invisible, this is what they would see. That much. It would be all over the place, it says, all over the West Coast here. So, again, forget about his subscribers or his followers leaving a comment asking, hey, Dana, if it's that predominant and it is all over the place, then surely you must be able to pull out some type of reading somewhere, Dana. Dana, you spent 260 days, according to him, out on the ocean on the West Coast. Dana, where's your sample results? What samples did you take? He took none. So no one's going to speak out about it. This is why I've been trying to ask him to come and debate me. He doesn't want to debate. In fact, that video's um, has gone viral here. Thanks so much, everyone. The views still crawling up here. There's more thumbs up on that video than there were just a couple of weeks ago when I first started. She's up to 116. Thanks so much. I mean, people are realizing here he is a coward. He does lie, and I'm the only one who's going to be calling him out on this bullshit. And it doesn't matter. He just keeps on lying. So even when you leave the comments in his comment section, asking him these hot questions, hey Dana, if it really is that full everywhere, because he's saying this is in our rivers, this is on our lakes, this is in the ocean, it's that much, he says, if we could see the radiation. So you'd think someone would leave a comment and ask him, hey Dana, do some testing. So again, in the video, he goes on to lie even further. He tells his subscribers that the Geiger counter he has at his home is picking up strontium 90. And I'm like, oh man, just flat out lies. He's not picking up any strontium 90. And then he goes on to tell his subscribers that the radiation on the West Coast where he lived is in the hundreds. Well, he should have evacuated. You'd think he'd be a little bit more pressed to evacuate, because that's what I'm about to show you here. Some live readings from all across USA and Canada. As I mentioned before, I live right here on Vancouver Island, right where the 9 is, and he lives just above the 9 on in the province of British Columbia here in Powell River, which, oddly enough, if you're not aware of it, that's exactly where I'm going to be leaving here very shortly. I've said to you folks very shortly. At some point here, I'm going to be leaving on this Fukushima 2016 expedition for life, because there's a lot of you that want the truth. I live right here on the West Coast. I'm going to go retravel the exact same locations that he did in 2014. In August of 2014, Dana came out with his buddy, and they said they traveled 9 days, 200 kilometers along the Sunshine Coast of British Columbia, Canada. As I said, I live right here in the city of Victoria on Vancouver Island. So I'm just going to travel up here. It's about a 3 hour car ride. Me and my friends are going to hang out here for a couple of days. And we're going to do, I'm going to do some live readings. I'm going to be traveling some along some of the coastline along the shoreline, taking some video footage so you can see what he's missing or what he's purposely not showing you. And then we're going to embark on the 9 day tour. We won't be 9 days. We're going to try and cover the exact same locations that he did. He traveled to various provincial parks. I'm going to go down to some of those provincial parks, videotape some of the marine life that he failed to show you folks. Again, it was all about hiding real life, telling people that for 9 days along the Sunshine Coast in August of 2014, he didn't see a single bird. Oh man, right there, I knew, knowing, how dense the bird population here is on the West Coast. For someone to say they traveled 9 days on the Sunshine Coast and never saw a single bird, I knew right there, oh man, this guy's absolutely lying to everyone. And then the lies just kept piling up as you watch that video of 2014 horror. The Pacific Ocean is dead from Fukushima radiation. Turns out he's making claims like all the bugs are dead. All the flies they saw during 9 days would fit in one small glass. All the weeds along the shoreline were all devastated. There was nothing left. All the weeds would all fit in the back of a pickup truck. Can you imagine that, saying stuff like that? 200 kilometers of the beach, he's trying to say that all the weeds would fit in the back of one small pickup truck. So I'm going to go right up to his beach here, folks, and we're going to do the part of his 9 day tour. I won't be 9 days. And I've said before, if you want to help out, there's two things I'm doing. I'm raising funds for the gamma spectrometer, which is to test for radiation in the soil, in the fish, the sea life here on the West Coast. I'll be doing it live, videotaping everything live. And also some of that money goes towards testing for strontium 90, the exact same radioactive isotope that he's pretending, he's lying to subscribers that he's picking up on his Geiger counter. If you can find me a Geiger counter that can read strontium 90, please send me an email. Please leave me a comment, because I can't wait to find one. The best thing I've found that reads many isotopes is the gamma spectrometer. I'm going to get a mobile unit so I can walk down to beaches. I can bring it up in the mountain and do checking for soil there. I went out and specifically found that the gamma spectrometer was the best thing to do. In fact, it was led on to me from a girl from the UK who actually worked at a nuclear plant, who was following Dana. And after a while, she says like, "Oh my God, this guy is so full of shit." So she sent me some information. She says, the type of Geiger counter you'll want to buy to do your testing is the gamma spectrometer. So I've been checked that up. I followed it up, and sure enough, she's correct. So that's what I'm raising funds for. And other than that, the rest of the funds is going towards this tour that I'm doing here, the 2016 Expedition for Life. So what I'm going to do here over the course of the next few hours, I'm going to have some live radiation readings from the Radiation Network. I've got a little bit of music set up in the background so you can listen to some nice, calming, soothing music instead of getting scared to the Jesus out of you, because that's nonsense. Now, another thing I want to stress out is another scammer, Weeping Willow 2. It's the same bullshit with this woman. She lies. And her most famous video, the least famous video, I should say, but just recently released, smoke out everywhere at Fukushima. Exclusive Fukushima. Don't bother go watching it. It's lies. There's no smoke. It's the rolling morning fog that rolls in off the ocean. It's so sad. I left her a comment. I said, Weeping Willow, you need to get yourself educated on the difference between smoke and ocean fog. I live right here on the West Coast. I told her, why don't you move out to the West Coast and come experience some of this morning fog so you can know what the hell you're looking at, instead of telling everyone that it's smoke. The only good news she could come out, she's, well, at least it's not black smoke. I'm like, yeah, because it's not smoke. It's fog. So these two crooks and many others have been telling you everything's dead. I have a series of stories here at connectingdots1.com, but today I'm going to deal with specifically the USA National Radiation Map. You can find that on my YouTube channel, on my Connecting Dots 1 website. If you want to follow us up on a regular basis, this is the main page of the website. You'll have to scroll down to right here where it says radiation, and the second one down, live radiation readings. You click there and it'll bring you to USA, Japan, Europe, and Australia. That's right, they're all there. And this is essentially the website that I'm going to share with you folks. I'm going to refresh it every once in a while. It's called the Radiation Network, as you can see at the top. It's home of the National Radiation Map, depicting environmental radiation levels across the USA and some of Canada. It's updated in real time every minute. It's the first website where the average citizen or anyone in the world can see what radiation levels are anywhere in USA at any time. And as I said, back at the website, you'll have links to other countries, because they don't just do USA. You got Japan here and other places. Okay, so essentially, I'm going to leave this up here, and you can look at, you can see down below, it says the alert level. 3 consecutive minutes of lesser of 100 counts per minute, or 2.5 times the station's baseline is considered um, the alert level. Okay, so refresh the page every once in a while, and you can take a look at readings here along the west coast. And I'll remind you folks that when I go on my radiation tour, because I got 2 high-end Geiger counters, I showed that in my past video here over the Fukushima 2016 Radiation Expedition for Life tour. If you want to go watch that 25-minute video, part 2, I get into my Geiger counters. I did it in part 1 and part 2. I showed you folks the Geiger counters I'll be taking on my tour, so you'll be able to know, you'll be able to see what the difference is, what the readings are. Okay, there's no readings up in Powell River of 168 or 127 counts per minute. I'm not saying that there's no spikes that go up that high, because you'll often see, even on my own Geiger counters, they'll go up to 60 or 100, but we're talking about the course, over the course of an entire minute. So you can't have someone pull up a Geiger counter up to the screen for 3 seconds and show you, look, I got 168, and then pull it back, oh, I'm down to 132, and then he stops telling you, well, that doesn't work. That's not how it works, okay? So essentially, I'm going to leave this up so you'll be able to take a look at for yourself, what's taking place on the West Coast, and I'll play a little bit of music in the background, and every once in a while I'll come back in and check in. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come take a look at the comments every once in a while. So maybe there's some comments out there that someone um, has a question someone may want to ask me, and I can just get into it if you want. So let's get to the radiation tour, and let's watch these readings here. As I said, I'll refresh it. It's refreshed in real time every minute, but I actually have to give it a little twirl here, and there we go. We went from 11 to a 12, and yeah, I'm going to go on to the music now, so we've got something to listen to here over during the time periods when I'm not speaking. Funny how it can pick me up, eh? How come there's no sound here? How come this is not picking up anything? Yeah, this is working good, eh? Okay, I seem to be having some audio issues here, so let me just double check this out. How's this? I'll go to the live show. Okay, so it is coming up. Okay, if you're just tuning in, again, this is a 4-hour hangout here, and we're doing this because Dana Durnford's latest claims that Fukushima radiation wasn't invisible. We would see it like the green dye in this canal. It would be all over in our rivers and our lakes and our oceans and our streams. We would see it just as green as that. And that's total lies, 100%. He goes on to lie in his latest video that his Geiger counter can pick up strontium 90. Absolute lie. And he goes on to say that the west coast where he lives, the radiation readings, atmospheric, as I'm showing here up on the screen, at the radiation network on the west coast, that's right up here, just above the 8. He lives along the shoreline here in Pell River. He's trying to tell everyone that the readings are about 150 to 160 counts per minute. Absolute lie. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to do a 4-hour show so you folks can see the real readings here from regular folks. And you can even join this if you want. The radiation network is open to everyone. They have a list of Geiger counters that if you want to get involved with this, this is what they've got going here right now. Okay. And there's another one also called the Black Cat. As I said before, this refreshes every minute. I'm not 100% sure if it refreshed itself, but we just saw it blink here a moment ago. So the Black Cat system, if you're interested in looking into that one, I'll leave a link also to the Black Cat. Firefox Black Cat is right here. So I'll copy this right now and I'll post it down below in this video so you can watch it. Black Cat is a different type of Geiger counters altogether. They're all the same, the GM10, 45, 50, or 90. That's all they have there, and essentially they are reading in microrevs per hour here, and they're looking for cesium 137 or cobalt 60. Okay, and if you believe that Dana can grab his Geiger counter and can pick up the strontium 90, please send me a link to his Geiger counter so I can look into it myself. And I don't know why I'm having audio issues. I'm not sure if you can hear them in the background, but I'm almost tempted not to put the music on. So yeah, here's the Black Cat. I'll close it, and I'll go to this video right now that you folks are watching. Hi, Mike. And I'll post the link to Black Cat if anyone wants to watch Black Cat. And I'll also go post it in here, but I have to do it from another site. I can't do it from here anymore. YouTube has changed their design of the web page. Now it erases all links. So we'll go back to the website here, Radiation Network. I'll post this in full screen, and you'll see the page refresh itself every minute, and you can see for yourself what the readings are all along the west coast or anywhere else in the United States. And I'll point out that some of these areas that are high, like Colorado here, this is up in the mountains there. Just refreshed again. This is up in the mountains, okay? There's a couple of areas that are on the high side. Again, 100 would be the alert level. It's down here below, 2.5 times higher than the station's itself, okay? Every station has its baseline. So if it happens to hit here for over 3 minutes, 3 consecutive minutes, 2.5 times above the station's baseline, it's considered an alert. So ask Dana to show his Geiger counter, what model it is, and give us 3 minutes of live readings like I have in the past, as the people here on this website. So I'll go back to the soundtrack here, and I'll tune back in later on. And if you have any comments, I'll get into them and say hi to the odd person here and there. Your voice is distorted because the music, I think. Let me just pause the music to double check. My computer has been acting very funny lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've infected it again. So I'm just going to watch this page for a moment, and I'll come back and check a comment even and let me know if my voice is still coming out all distorted, okay? I could even put up my microphone. Why? I don't think that has it. any issues in it, but just in case, I'm playing it, wiggling around right now. I'm not sure if that's making a difference. It shouldn't be. This is a decent microphone. I hope there's not a short in the wire. That would be another expense that I don't need to incur right now. Okay, so I'm pulling back the comments here, and hopefully you've had an opportunity to analyze my voice with the music off. Let me know what that sounds like. That was better. Okay. Well, the good thing is I won't be speaking. I'm going back to the live readings, and I'm going to put the sound back on. Okay, there's something majorly wrong here. I'm watching this on another monitor and it has not refreshed, and yet the readings have changed 3 times. So I'm bringing over the page you're all watching. You can see down below here 11:39, and this is playing right now. You can see I don't have the pause on, right? You can hit pause if you want to. I was waiting for it to change. I can't understand what's the time delay here. Remember, there's not much of a delay with YouTube. Okay, this one's still at 11:42, and the one in the background, you see 11:39. And refresh this one. This is the live one, and we're 11:43, and we'll go back and grab the other one. Oops, where is it? This one here. Yeah, this one. And it's still showing me 11:39. What the heck is going on? Like I said, this is not paused. All it does. So I'm going to refresh this to see if this changes, because this should have already changed. There's usually not that much of a delay on YouTube videos. When I do live streaming shows, there's not a couple of minutes delay time. Something's not adding up here. Hey, thanks for all those thumbs up. Okay, so now it's showing me the dark green, which is where we've at. Let's see how long it takes before it shows me this green. Did anyone else notice this that's watching this show here? Because there's 6 of you currently. Okay, so now it's just catching that. Like I said, there's not a couple of minutes delay in this transmission, so it should not be running that much behind. Very odd. So I'm just waiting to see here for how long it takes before to show this full screen here that I'm already looking at, but you guys aren't. It says 11:45 on that screen. Okay, I seem to be up to speed now. Alright, so if you're just tuning in again, I'm doing this live streaming 4-hour live Canada US readings of radiation because of Dana Durnford's latest bullshit video that he put out here. So essentially this was uploaded 18 hours ago, the top one where you can see the green water in the canal. And essentially Dana came out and told all the subscribers that there's so much Fukushima radiation along the west coast that is falling that if the radiation wasn't invisible, that we would be able to see it just like the green in this canal. He goes on to say that this is the way it would look like in all of our streams, all of our rivers, and the oceans, the lakes would all be green if we could see radiation, assuming the radiation showed up green. That many isotopes, we would be inundated with Fukushima, he says. In fact, he goes on to say that during his live broadcast, he was showing folks his Geiger counter that was hitting highs of 165 counts per minute. Yeah, the alert level is 100. Dana's sitting there 165. He's not moving though. He's fine living there. He's okay. It's like, he figures he's already toast now, so he must just keep being radiated every day. It only makes sense, don't you think? Yeah, okay, so a lot of you have already caught on. This is bullshit. And to add even more bullshit to the whole thing last night, he goes on to tell his subscribers that his type of Geiger counter is able to pick up strontium 90. That's what it's reading at 165 counts per minute. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't believe it. He's saying that. So I noticed that he's now starting to mention the word strontium 90, which is something I've been saying in my videos since Fukushima Day 1040, I think, 1065, where I started talking about the German study that had spoke about how Fukushima strontium 90 would be a problem in the future as it would continue rising in levels and would first show up around the 1,000-day mark. And oddly enough, that's right when we had it out of TEPCO's own testing right at Fukushima plant was around Fukushima Day 1040, I think, or 1065. And essentially the German study spoke about how the strontium 90 would continue rising in higher levels over the course of the next 5,000 days. And then would continue spewing out for another, altogether 25,000 days. Long story short, we have not reached our peak. We're far from it. And they're starting now finally to talk about strontium 90. But the fact is, it's just like I was saying, these people on YouTube that do the Fukushima videos, as well as Weeping Willow too, I'll get into her in a second here. Most of them are here. They give a little bit of truth with a lot of bullshit. So again, in his latest videos, that his Geiger counter can pick up strontium 90. Absolute lie. Even myself here at Connecting Dots to my YouTube channel, I've been saying that I'm raising funds for a gamma spectrometer. And although the gamma spectrometer will allow me to read many various different type of radioactive isotopes in the soil, in the water, the seafood. As I said, I live right here on the West Coast. That's why I want to do this live testing with my camera. I don't want to show my face. It's not about my face. It's about the facts, right? Good. So that's why I want to do the live testing. And just as I did in my cross-Canada radiation tour in 2011, I bought 2 Geiger counters and I got a radioactive sample. Well, now I'm prepared to move it up to the next step, which is the gamma spectrometer. But even with the gamma spectrometer, I cannot test for strontium 90. I have to send out the samples out to an independent lab, and that's going to hit me. They're going to ding me for about $200 to $250 for each test. So for Dana to come out and say that he's now testing strontium 90 with his Geiger counter, this is where the bullshit piles on, folks, okay? These people are out here to disinform you. That's why I've piled up this whole list of fraudsters and disinformation. So if you're new to YouTube, you can catch up the power from a person who's been out here every single day since the year 2009. Just about every single day. I used to pump out a video every single day back in 2009 up until June 27th, when I gave up my apartment and bought my 2 Geiger counters and drove back and forth for across Canada doing Fukushima fallout reading for the next 2.5 months. So essentially, we have the disinformation people out here, and in its latest bullshit, well, again, it's there's not much radiation yet. Dana hasn't taken a single sample for all the thousands of dollars that he's picked up. He's bought himself a boat, garnished himself with a $3,500 heater in the boat, all kinds of things. Got bigger motors. He's wrecked all types of propellers non-stop during his, according to him, 260-day tour of the West Coast during the middle of the winter, if you can believe that one. Anyway, so it made sense to me that he was going to wreck a bunch of propellers. You can't be out there in the middle of the winter looking at the shoreline, and if you saw the videos, you all know why it's all bullshit. He never did in-depth analysis like I did And if you don't know what that's all about, I'll recommend again you go check out videos here on my YouTube channel. This one here, Fukushima, Dana, Durnford, Kevin Blanch, Pacific Ocean Genocide Debunk. Okay, that's part 1 of part 10. I've only went down to the beach once, one location, one small spot. Did not travel 200 kilometers. I traveled maybe 200 feet along the shoreline, and you get to see for yourself how much sea life is there. Like I said, wait till I go on this Fukushima 2016 expedition for life up along the zone coastline. People are going to be shocked. Dana's going to be very upset. In fact, he's probably calling the police right now, trying to tell him that he's coming out to stalk me. He's going to. It's all bullshit. I'm not even going near his home. Well, not near his home. I'm going on the street where his home is located. I'm going to show everyone kilometer-wise as I leave that area to drive down to the ocean to show you how close he lived to the ocean and how easy it could have been for him to actually film the truth so you could all know the real condition of the Pacific Ocean. So I'm sure right now, because he already knows that I'm on this expedition and I'm going up to his area, his little hometown, he's probably already called his lawyer right now, trying to get me up on some kind of bullshit. His lawyer's going to tell him, send me the evidence so we can know what to file, and the lawyer's going to listen to it. And he says, well, Dana, every time he spoke about your place, he always made it specifically that he wasn't going right up to your trailer. He was going to the street where your trailer park is located. That's right, he lives in a trailer park. And I was going to leave from that trailer park street, or not in the trailer park itself, but from that street, and drive down to the. So his lawyer would make it tell Dana, just pack it in, buddy. You don't have a chance against this guy. Don't worry, Dana. I'm watching myself too, because I know you guys are full of shit and you're absolutely afraid of me going up there. Well, you better get ready, because I'm coming up. I'm going straight up the Bow River, and we're going on that 200 kilometer trek that you told everyone in 2014 where everything was dead. So you folks that are new to this, you'll get an in-depth view to the Pacific coastline here. And the next camera down below is exclusive Fukushima smoke out everywhere. Total waste of time. Total waste of time. And you can go watch that if you want. 3 minutes and 58 seconds. 4 minutes of a waste of time of the day if you wanted to watch it. I'm just telling you right now that Weeping Willow is another nutcase. This is what they do on YouTube. They can't make truthful videos. They got to exaggerate. They got to lie. They got to, scam. Unfortunately, that's what it is, okay? And they're deceptive. They fearmonger. They try to suck you in. And unfortunately, that's why Jeff Palco took his life, because he got scammed out of his life savings. Not only did they lie to them about them returning the boat, Dana said he would return the boat, never returned the boat, and now the other scammer, Kevin Blanch, actually stole the investment fund of $18,500 that Jeff Palco had left in his possession as an investment fund. And Kevin never gave him his money. He blocked him, wasn't answering his calls. So these scammers, this exclusive Fukushima smoke out of everywhere, it's not smoke, it's Pacific Ocean fog rolling in the morning. The problem is she can't differentiate the fog rolling in, rolling out. She doesn't understand what fog is, so it's pointless. Pointless debating with this girl. All right, so let's go back to the radiation network, and I'll check your comments. So if you have any comments, don't be shy, leave a comment. This website, as you can see, it's updated every minute, and I'll continue playing here for another few more hours. That we're there. If there's anyone that's wondering what the true rules are, well, we got an idea here. These are independent, regular people. You can even join up yourself, okay? And you can buy Geiger counter, okay? They've got a list up down below here. You scroll down the page. It's called the Radiation Network, okay, .com. You can scroll down there. You get to see all the various Geiger counters that are located on this map. And you can buy one of those models, and for a small fee, you can start streaming live data out of your home. So I guarantee you, if Dana joined the club here, okay, some of you put your money where your mouth is. They call me a fraudster. Put your money where your mouth is, and ask Dana to tell him that you'll actually pay for his monthly subscription for the next 3 months for Dana to hook up his Geiger counter live to the radiation network. And watch out what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, you're going to realize, A, that it's exactly what I've been saying. Dana has a pancake probe, okay? And you can see down below here where I'm circling the pancake probe, the yellow is circled with a thick black line all around it compared to the other one. See how the next one next to it says standard, thin black line, pancake, thick black line, standard says 16, thick black line, pancake says 48. So that's exactly what I've been saying. Every time you get a pancake Geiger counter, you're always going to get higher readings. And then the fact that he's got the, what's it called again? I know this Geiger counter because I debunked one of them in town. Well, I shouldn't say debunked. Someone was watching my Fukushima videos back in 2011, and after I finished my cross-Canada radiation career, you may have heard how I went gold prospecting, rolled my truck down the side of the mountain 8 times and broke my neck in 3. Yeah, anyways, I'm back, I'm healed up, I recovered, I've got feelings on my hands, I'm not sucking out of the straw for the rest of the life, and as you can see, I sure as hell can't speak, and I'm pretty quick. Long story short, I met up with a gentleman who came and saw me in a hotel while I was recovering, and he brought me his inspector because he was saying, "Hey, guy, I'm picking up, I think it was 147, 157, really high numbers." And essentially, we found out that the numbers that he had, they were 10 times higher than what both of my Geiger counters read in 2 different type of readings. We all found out that that his Geiger counter, the inspector, was 10 times higher. So Dana's 165 counts per minute is actually probably a spike up to 16.5 counts per minute. Oh, I know it's going to hurt you that I'm saying that, but like I said, I'm the guy with the 2 Geiger counters. I'm the guy with the radioactive sample. And there's a whole lot of other people that live right here on the West Coast who are uploading their readings live. So if you're thinking we're all full of bullshit, put your money where your mouth is, pay for Dana's subscription for 3 months, and let him post his readings there, and you'll see within a matter of days, okay, you'll see on this website, the Radiation Network, in the message, you can click right there, boom, message. You will see Dana's Geiger counter as well as updates that will be showing up, the conversation between the people that own this website and Dana. I'm not new to this. I've been following Fukushima since day 1. If you don't believe me, there's Tim's email address. Contact Tim. Every time somebody shows up there, he's got to regulate the Geiger counters, because this is what you may have noticed on the first page. Readings not equalized, and goes on to say here, if you read right here, it says, depending on your location, your elevation or altitude, and your model of Geiger counter, okay, background radiation levels might average anywhere from 5 to 60 counts per minute. 60 counts per minute. That's right. Depending on where you live. And that's what I was telling folks a little while ago. If you're in Colorado and Utah and Nebraska, those Geiger counters are high. You'll notice the readings are always high on those ones, okay? Hi, Kobe. Kobe, how you doing? I noticed your comment here. So essentially, like I said, put your money where your mouth is. If you think that both of my Geiger counters are wrong, and like I said, I haven't got a cheap one here. I've got an expensive Geiger counter, the same type they use at a nuclear plant. Go pay for Dana's subscription for 3 months. Heck, only pay for 1 month, because we'll already have this all debunked within 1 month. So it won't cost you a lot of money. Go leave a comment in his comment section. Dana, I will gladly pay for 1 month subscription to the Radiation Network so you can post your live readings of your Geiger counter so everyone can see how you're being radiated at over 100 counts per minute every day, day in, day out. Like I said, you'll be a laughing stock on YouTube, and I want you guys to pay for it, because I'm tired of paying for it. I'm not doing it anymore. I've made enough videos. I've provided enough evidence. Yeah, it's time for some of you that call me scammers to put your money where your mouth is and go debunk it on your cash, on your own time. Okay, I'm just trying to refresh comments here because I got another page going, and I'm going to go play this video. Some people have mentioned that it's a little choppy. I only got one thumb down. What's going on? Not enough haters out there. Okay, so I'll come back to your comments later on. Let's go on with this radiation reading. Okay, I'm going to make some licorice tea. I'll be back in a moment. I'm just making some licorice tea. I'll be back in a moment. Yep, you got it. Yow. That's hot. Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Just found out what the problem is. I just found out what the problem was, folks. Okay, welcome back, folks. So you've been watching, if you've stuck around all this time, 2 hours and 15 minutes of live radiation reading across USA and some of Canada. I've mentioned before, if you want to join this website, it's a monthly fee. And I've been trying to, or I have mentioned, I should say, have been trying. I've mentioned earlier on in the show how if you're any of Dana's followers are listening right now, if any of you want to put him to the test, why don't you ask him to hook up his Geiger counter to this website for a month at least, and you'll pay for the month. It's not that expensive. It's quite cheap. And let's have Dana's readings on this website. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll notice within the first month, if he does do it, which I know he won't, because then everyone watching him would realize, oh, he's a liar about the readings also. Well, I already know that, and that's what was basically the purpose of this. It was supposed to be 4 hours of reading, but I've decided for the last 45 minutes, we're going to go play my favorite online game. So, yeah, Battleship. So here we come. But before the Battleship, first, though, like I was saying, Dana, if he did hook up his Geiger counter here, because he's been saying to his viewers that the readings up on Vancouver Island, or I should say on the coast of British Columbia here, across from Vancouver Island, so that's where the number 11 is here, he would be up from the number 11 to the right of it. And in his town of Powell River, the readings are 100 and, what did he say again? 165, 150, 135 counts per minute. And if you may have noticed down below here, the alert level here is 3 consecutive minutes of at least 100 counts per minute, or 2 times higher than the station's normal baseline. And as I mentioned earlier, that the readings you see up there with the dark black circles around them have a type of probe called a pancake probe. You may have noticed what I've said here in the comments down below, how the pancake probes have a larger, much larger surface reading area than other Geiger counters, and therefore their readings are much higher. So that's exactly what Dana has. You may notice here that there's a thin black line around the 14 on Vancouver Island. So it's 14 counts per minute, which if you watch my videos from 2011, 2012, you already know that the average reading is right about that. That's what I got here in Vancouver Island, in the city of Victoria, and elsewhere in 2011, before I began my cross-Canada radiation tour. But essentially, like I said, if Dana did hook up his machine here, within the first week, we'd see him here in the message center, where they deal with all types of issues and high readings. And I must admit, I've been watching this website for a long time now. The guy who runs it, or the people that run it, or maybe an individual person, I'm not quite sure. They seem to be quite clear in always trying to find out the source of that high reading to the best of their capabilities. So that's what I've noticed. One of the things I did like, as I mentioned, when I did my cross-Canada radiation tour, I was following the jet stream here as I traveled from Vancouver Island across to Canada. And I was watching, trying to catch rain essentially, because I knew that the fresh after the fallout, as soon as the meltdown had taken place, this fallout, because it would be up in higher concentrations up in the air, that there was a chance for me to catch it earlier in 2011. Did I find it? Yes, I found it 3 times during my tour, and possibly a 4th time further up north in Alberta. But essentially, one of the things I did find or was informed from this website, not only have I been watching the readings since 2011, but they also informed me that chasing the fallout the way I was doing was the best way to find it, but also that the higher readings are usually on the outer rims of the storm and not necessarily in the heart or the center of the storm. It's more on the outer rims of that storm, of that cloud that may be coming by. So the passing rain, right? There's a bunch of clouds that come by. The outer rim of that storm is where you're more likely to get some of these radionuclides. So that was quite interesting, because I remember the mist I picked up in the city of outskirts of Calgary, Alberta in 2011. This was on my way back. I did a cross back and forth, right? So I drove all the way across, and on my way there, I picked it up way up in the mountains up in Banff when there's a big thunderstorm that came by. I don't know if you saw that video, but that was pretty clear. That was Fukushima fallout right there. My Geiger counter went crazy. I picked it up, as I said, another time further up north in Alberta, and never uploaded that video. And then when I came back across Canada on my way back is when I came across high readings again, and this was again I missed the rain. I was on the outer rim of the storm that day. However, my Geiger counter picked up high readings, and I was lucky enough, or whatever, unlucky, what depends how you look at it, but I consider myself very lucky that roughly a month after I finished that tour and was back on Vancouver Island, the news was recorded, or we were informed, the data was released from Health Canada that one of this monitoring stations in the city of Calgary had picked up Fukushima. They knew it was Fukushima radioactive isotopes in one of the rainfalls. I'm like, yeah, I bet you it's the same darn day it was there. They didn't give us the exact date. They just said the week, but I'm like, I bet you it's the same day as I was there, because my Geiger counter went crazy also. So essentially, that's one of the things I like about this website. They do a lot of in-depth explanation about what may be going on. So again, if you're new to radiation and you're trying to make sense of stories that you may be picking up on YouTube, there's a good chance it may be mentioned here, okay? And you'll notice that this person does, as myself, he when he's out to either it's not, I wouldn't call it debunk, but more or less try to verify that the reading that's being picked up at a certain station is actually either radiation, or is it this, or potentially that, or potentially this. So that's what I like about it. He goes through it and breaks it down, as well, with the help, obviously, of the person who owns a Geiger counter at that specific location, okay? The two of them work together to try and decipher the data that's been captured, okay? Because this is available when we're only seeing the free version here. When you join up here as a member, you're able to click on these different Geiger counter readings and get these little graphs that pop up. So that's one of the added bonuses here. So essentially, yeah, that's what I like about this website. It's the gentleman does quite good work, okay? So I'm sure if Dana did show up here and had those unbelievable day in, day out high readings of 165 or 150 or even 140 or 120 counts per minute, day in, day out, like Dana says. By the way, folks, I always wonder, like, those of you that follow him, don't you ask him, like, Dana, why aren't you evacuating? We all know that 100 is like the evacuation. It even says it right here in this, the alert level right here is 3 consecutive minutes. Dana's talking about sitting up there in Powell River every day, day in, day out, with over 100 counts per minute. Really? Really? And he's not evacuating? Okay, so let me think about that for a second. Okay, is he crazy or am I crazy? Or are we both crazy? No, he's a liar, okay? He's not crazy. He's scamming people. It's being deceitful, okay? So essentially, that's why I made this video. I always considered we as a group of us. There's those of you that follow the videos, because you all participate in this. I'm by myself here that produces this stuff. I pay the internet line. It's my time. It's my Sunday afternoon that decided to sit out here and do this. And the reason why was because of Dana's latest load of BS here. And I'm just trying to supersize my window here, but for some reason she's slow on the go. And 18 hours ago, the bullshit horn began blowing again. And this time here, well, believe it or not, he goes on to say that, you see how there's this canal here is all green. The water's been turned green for whatever reason. Dana says that if the radiation that fell here on the West Coast and across the USA was not invisible, that all of our lakes and all of our streams and even the ocean and the creeks would all be green. No, seriously, this is what he's saying here. So I keep, I've been telling his subscribers, why don't you ask him to take some sampling? Because if everything is quite as radioactive as he claims, then it should be easy to just go pick up some soil, or pick up a local grown apple, or pick up some of the seafood that may be still alive along a shoreline, or even the dead seafood, the sea creatures along his Powell River coastline, and just have it tested for radiation so he can actually show to people, look at, I just picked up another dead octopus last week. I just got the results back, and it's Fukushima galore. They have this isotope, this isotope. Oh, look at that rock bass. I mean, that sea bass. Look at this one here. The same thing. Oh, the dolphin last week that washed up. Yeah, I cut out his underbelly and I sent it into the lab. Guess what? Turns out his belly too, he was loaded with Fukushima radiation. We don't have that. Dana just keeps collecting money. I don't know. We really don't know what his goal is anymore. Those of you that watch him, please ask him what's the goal exactly here. The nuclear proctologist who doesn't know how to use a Geiger counter. And in fact, in this latest bullshit, he goes on even further and he lies to his subscribers and telling them that the Geiger counter that he's using is able to detect strontium-90. Absolute lie. Absolute lie. This guy's a liar. So it gets worse. I mean, I could go on with him, but honestly, it's the same old trick where he pulls out old stories that were printed back in 2011 and tries to scare the bejesus out of everyone and tell them that all that radiation that flew by there, that blew by there, whatever, is still everywhere. It's still everywhere. Yet, I mean, this is a story that I've been working on the last couple of, this is the second week now, on radiation and how it works through different organisms, living organisms. And even his thing where he says, once the radiation's there, once it touches something, and even if the radiation moves on, that it gets blown away, that particle or whatever, that other thing is still radiated for life and it's deadly for life. I'm like, oh yeah? Well, that's weird, because I got a radiation sample here that I've been carrying since 2011, and I've put it against numerous things, and I've gone back and checked that same area with my Geiger counter, and I don't pick up anything. So there goes his whole bullshit story, okay, folks? On that whole thing. Anyways, long story short, I've been working on this whole story, and just listening to him pull out these old stories from 2011 from, again, Energy News, that he's again trying to put up on a pedestal, when we all know they do exactly the same as Dana. They filter through the news. They take the little stories, exaggerate them, and again, they're always focused on what? Fukushima, 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 Fukushima. It's supposed to be called Energy News. Where's the oil spill? Where's the methane leaks? There's nothing. It's everything is dead according to Energy News, and it's always Fukushima radiation. No testing of anything that's been dead. Nope, nothing. They're just like Dana. They don't require data. All they know is that there's 3 leaking plants on the Japan's coast that have been leaking radiation since 2011 into the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, everything that washes up, everything that's dead, has to be Fukushima. Absolutely, has to be. Yet I'm the only one who actually posts like real videos from independent testing that shows, oh yeah, look at they tested 7 salmon, 7 different species of salmon. That was when? In January of 2014, I believe I made that video. 7 different species. That's only 7 fish. 5 of them came out radioactive. Out of those 5, 3 of them had radiation from past nuclear testing on the West Coast, okay, in the ocean. The other 2 had Fukushima radiation. So that's the type of stories I enjoy seeking and showing to people what's going on. I'm not going to tell you everything is dead. You know, in fact, as I said before, I'm going to his coastline where he lives, not right to his home, of course, because he'd love to call the police, this debateless coward, okay, this fraudster. Yes, scamming line fraudster would love to call the police and have them arrest me for apparently stalking him or all this bullshit that he says in his videos. Okay, so I have absolutely no intention on going near his home or at his home. I'm going to be on that street and departing with a live camera showing you the kilometers from the street where his trailer park, because like I said, I'm not going to go into the trailer park near his home. He'd love that, okay, to have a camera set up on his balcony or something to catch me drive by. I don't need that bullshit, and that's not the goal of me going up there. The reason I'm going up there is to, like I said, leave from the street where he pulls out to go straight to the ocean and show you how many kilometers, how far away he actually lived from the ocean where he could have filmed real sea life and show you folks what's going on in the ocean, okay, specifically where he lives. So that's what my plan is. And I mentioned before, if you want to help out, only if you can afford it, by the way, okay, only if you can afford it. There's a donation button right there. You're more than welcome, and I'll gladly accept it. I plan on spending probably about 3-4 days on this entire thing. At first, it was only going to be 1 day, and then as I thought about it, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to go back and do exactly the same coastline that he did back in August 2014, where the whole scam began. So at first, I'm going to begin from his hometown, show the coastline there, and then I'll embark on a ferry with my bros, and we'll travel down the 200-kilometer coastline of the Sunshine Coast, and I'll share with you some real footage of the coastline. You're going to love it. It's beautiful. You're going to want to come on holidays here. I've mentioned before that although I've never finished high school, I have finished a course, and I'm a certified travel agent, so I can help you set up your itinerary while you're up here and find you some great places to sleep. I haven't done that type of work. I actually never worked at it. I was worked volunteer for 9 months in a travel in the tourism industry of one of those locations there. But essentially, I'll help you come down here and you'll enjoy it. There is so much life. If you enjoy the ocean and the wildlife, there's some cheap places. You don't have to spend these massive amounts of money for these expensive hotels. Forget about it, okay? I'll hook you up, no problem, okay, bro? Just come see me. Okay, so anyways, yeah, if you want to donate, if you can afford it, I'm going to go down there and debunk him. I'm going to bring my 2 Geiger counters. I got 2 high-end Geiger counters. If you want to know more about it, go watch this part 2. It's much shorter, half the time, and I wrap up essentially the exact same type of information as part 2, okay? With some added information, because I've received some emails after uploading part 1, and essentially, yeah, the debateless coward doesn't want to come out and debate me on YouTube. I launched a couple of videos, 3 or 4 of them in 2014 and 2015, and he actually had them taken one of them off YouTube for misleading data, whatever. I'm just trying to debate you big coward. So he doesn't want to do it. We're going to go up there and we're going to do it, and we're going to show you folks what's going on. And like I said, the goal of this 2-hour and 15-minute show today, or what? Sorry, 3 hours and 15 minutes, was to show you that it's not berserk. The radiation on the West Coast is quite normal. Not to say that there wasn't high. Okay, I've picked up some high readings myself, and I've said before that even the Geiger counters we had here in Vancouver and they actually turned them off. We had 5 of them. They turned them off. The only one that was left on was the one left at the airport, because and that's in the city of Sydney on Vancouver Island at the airport. That Geiger counter was left on because it was low at the ground. It was ground level. The other ones were all up on top of buildings, and they knew damn well that anything high would probably catch maybe some of this wind here blowing by at a higher altitude, and they didn't want to chance it. So they turned off the Geiger counters and turned off the data for 10 days and turned them back on 10 days later in the interior in Kelowna. So I'll mention again that you can see these live readings over at my website, connectingdots1.com, which was the original name I came out on YouTube in 2009. And the thread is down here where it says radiation. Second one, live radiation readings. That's why there's no post, because when you click there, it brings you to that other page where we're just at. And from here, it's USA, Japan, Europe, or Australia. Okay, so I'll leave the link for the radiation network down below in this video also, as well as the black cat network, which is something I showed earlier on in the show. For those of you that are showing up here a little later, Black Cat, where are you? Kitty, 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 right here. And this is another website that does exactly the same as the other one, the previous one, the Radiation Network, except this website they're more specific about what type of Geiger counters you can use on this website. So everything is either GM10, 45, 50, or 90, okay? And it's in micrograms per hour, cesium-137 and cobalt-60 on this website. That's what they're looking for. I should say that's what the Geiger counter is set up to read, detect. So if you want to come out here, you can also look at this one, and I'll leave the link down below on the website, okay? I mean, in this video, it's also around the world, but it's not quite as spread out as the radiation network. That's the one thing I like about that one. So I'm closing up these windows because I'm going to attempt to try something. That's the music I was playing, 8-hour stock trading. It's something I play every once in a while to just relax, you know. So I'm going to close this one also. I'm going to take another moment here to go to the comments. Okay, let's see here. He's a dope. Yeah, no shit. I have 3 hours to catch up on. No, you don't. There's not much. It's 3 hours of readings and nothing went berserk. So I just did this for Dana's followers because he's been telling them that the radiation's been like 165 counts per minute, 150 counts per minute, 135, and here he is sitting in his living room doing these live shows. And I keep wondering, it's like, isn't somebody going to ask him what the hell's going on? No, his goal is to be a scammer. That's what Dana's goal is. Are you going to cover the next possible Fukushima? Yeah, sure, if you want me to. Looking forward to your videos from Powell River trip. Yeah, that's going to be wicked. That's going to be an eye-opener. When people see the amount of sea life that's right there on Dana's shoreline, they're going to say, oh, Oh no, I donated money to him. I thought this guy was telling us the truth. It's the same thing that happened to Jeff Palco, right? Do you remember that summer in August 2014 when Jeff's, I think it was his teenager that showed him that one video, and Dana, or I mean Jeff just lost it. That's why he said, Dana, you go ahead and keep the boat. I hope you sink to the bottom of the abyss. Sink, sink. I'm like, oh man, that was bad. That was so bad. But yeah, it was a big wake up call. And I think a lot of people are in for a big wake up call. Those of them that donated and thought this was all dead, and they see what's living right there on the shoreline or even along this 200-kilometer stretch. That's going to be quite the shocker, I think. Well, I don't think you will watch my video, so here goes. Be careful in the stock market. You might make a big mistake, and remember, stop loss are important. Take care. Well, I'll go watch your video, Dave. No problem. And yes, Dave, have you watched my videos? Have you seen how darn accurate I've been? I mean, I'm not going to say, I've been very honest with everyone. I'm most likely going to get it wrong. Okay, you can't get it right all the time. For sure, I'm going to get it wrong. I just hope I don't get it wrong big time. In my own personal trading account, apart from the videos that you guys see, my own public calls, they've been fabulous. I mean, I get one or two wrong out here there. Most of them, 98% batting average out here in the public world of YouTube. My own personal scalping account, I've hurt that so badly from not following my own trading rules. Okay, and so my number one rule to anyone who's out there who's getting into trading, he's talking about stop losses. I'm going to add to that, cut your losses short. I don't care if you believe, if you hope, if you think it might, cut your losses short, especially if you have a small account. That was my biggest problem. I didn't have a big account. I don't have a big trading account. And I absolutely hurt myself instead of just walking away with my tail between my legs and taking a $25 loss on a trade. No, I would hang on into the hundreds at times. I just did it again on dust. It's disappointing. So that's my piece of advice. Listen to him about the stop loss if you're doing a swing trade, or even if you're about to leave your platform to use a washroom, answer a phone call. Make sure you put your stop loss. Do not leave your trades open with no stop losses. I don't care what anybody says. Have a stop loss on it. And as I said, I'll add to that, if you're a day trader, cut those losses really short, guy. Don't let them add up, because that's what's really going to hurt your account. Okay, that's my own personal advice on this from trading now for almost a year. Big lesson. So now I have no problem wrapping it up as soon as I'm down $10-15. I try to walk away right away. Okay, so what else is out there? Same here. I'm hoping he'll shorten it up. Yes, that man Dave is right. Good luck to all. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go finish the show now. It's something I've never done. I'm going to try and play my a game that I play. Gosh darn it! Almost every night, but sometimes I only play it one round, which is 15-20 minutes. I think the longest we've gone and around here, one session was, I think I played for almost a half hour once. These were all good players that were very cautious, but on average, it's about a 15-minute game, and it's called what's the name of it? Battleships? Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but so essentially, what I have to do is I have to close this window here, and what I'm viewing is on this small screen here. So I'm closing this. And okay, so you guys can still see that. That's fabulous. And I have to do a couple other things. I can't read your comments now, so I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear me. And what I'm going to do is transfer the microphone over to the speaker at some point once I get the game fired up. But first, I have to swap screens again. If this doesn't work out, I'll just edit it out of the final video. I'll probably edit out of the final video. I'm just fooling around here to see if I can do something here live. Okay, so I need to go there. Okay. It's going to take me a second to get this set up here. Okay. Are you guys still there? It says 7. Okay, I'm assuming everyone's still here at this point, and this is still playing on that one screen. So here we go. We're going to open up the world of warships. That's what it's called. I can't call it battleships. And like I said, I play it every day. That's a minor detail in my world. So yeah, it's battleships, and I like it because there's strategy in this. It's kind of like a game of chess. Believe it or not, it's kind of like a game of chess. Unless you're in a battle in a session and they're all newbies, then there's a little bit of strategy on my part, but not much on theirs. And then you'll see it's if I do end up with a bunch of newbies, it's going to be probably one of those shorter games. But they've changed the matching up in this game here recently, I've noticed. So I'm getting matched up a lot better in my battleships, even though I don't have one of the tier 5s and tier 6, tier 7, tiers 8, tier 10, or I haven't ended up with tier 9 or tier 10, but I've ended up with up to tier 8, and I'm sitting down at a 4. So yeah, my small little ship in with some big boys, and they're doing that because I've become a much better player than the average player, and I haven't gone up in higher ships, so they force me up now. So here we go. Hopefully this will work, and like I said, if it doesn't, I'll just edit it out. Testing, testing. Okay, I'm not hearing anything coming out of my speakers, so I think there could be a little bit of an audio issue with the Google Hangout. So I may not even get to hear anything on my end. And I'm not even sure if you guys are out there right now. Anyways, like I said, I'll edit this out of the 4-hour video. Oh, lucky us, it's snowing. Okay, here we go. Not good. I'm on fire. Not good. 28 seconds before I can put that fire out. Okay, it's finally been put out. Gotta make sure none of these guys hit me because they're much higher rank and their shells hit my little phoenix. Ooh, yeah, you just saw like that was one shell. See how much life I lost there? I'm gonna make sure these guys don't hit me. I can easily hit them. I got the range. I just don't have the armor. Oh, I wasn't watching where I was going. Ooh, not good. Okay. Here, I'll get back into the out of here. Okay, we're out of here. Okay, I want to take care of this other turkey here. He's getting in too close. I like setting them on fire because it's like the wound that doesn't heal, especially once they've already used up that repair. The screen froze up there for a second. Okay, I gotta watch this other guy now. knew it. That's why I had to turn, because I knew darn well, oh, that's it. I'm done. Well, like I said, short game here. It was kind of close, though. You get to see your other teammates, how they're faring out, and he's not doing very well right now. Okay, we just lost him. Let's go see. So, like I said, they've really fixed up the matchmaking here. It's much closer than it ever was, which I like. I don't want to win all the time. That's not fun. I want to be able to play against guys that are good players also. So I'm glad they changed it. Okay, that's where I sunk. My ship has yet to flip over yet, but she's going down now. Okay, abandoned ship, abandoned ship. Yeah, that's all she wrote. Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna go back to the port and exit the battle, and then I'm gonna end the game and turn this off because I notice my 4 hours is just about up in YouTube. Instead of just giving the uploaders more time, they actually chew back into the 4 hours that you allocated for that upload. Can you believe that? I'm like, okay, who's the tard that set up this system? I can't believe YouTube does such stupid things. Instead of like you've gone over too long on your live stream, just keep adding more stream to it, right? You'd think, right? No, not YouTube. It overwrites everything that I've said at the beginning, or I've said everyone. I'm assuming this is for everybody. It overwrites the entire show from the beginning. So if you go on for an extra 2 hours, well, the first 2 hour of your show will be wiped out, and you'll only end up with the last 4 hours instead of a full 6 hour show. I know that sounds crazy. I couldn't believe it myself. I'm like, who's the guy programming this stuff? Who's his boss? Where is the think tank? So we're back here, and just gonna open this up, and we'll see if this played. I'd be interested to know if it did or not. I actually have to get. I have to get back to it right now because. Okay, it did. So I'm turning this off, and I'm going to end the show here. And yeah, thanks for participating. Hope you had fun.